Welcome, everyone, to TJ and the Grumpy Old Man. I'm your host, TJ, and with me here, as always, is the Grumpy Old Man. They say there's no shame to his game because he's always the same.
That's me.
Grump, how are you this fine Sunday evening?
Okay, pretty good. How about yourself?
Well, not bad. We're going live a little later than usual. My apologies for the tardiness, and I'm sure X will be joining us here momentarily. But if you're new to this channel, you're new to the podcast, we welcome you here with open arms. This is an all sports podcast that takes place every single Sunday. Usually, I'd say around about 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You know, sometimes it's a little before that, sometimes it's a little after that. It just really depends. But that's why you've got to be subscribed on YouTube. It goes on Sunday evening, but you know, the time is dependent upon little baby Liza when she, when everything works for her. So tonight we're a little later than usual, but we talk anything and everything sports on this show. So that's NHL, that's NBA, which we're going to be talking a lot about today for those NBA fans out there. We talk NFL, we talk college athletics, college hoops, college football. We talk, I'd say, world football as well. So soccer in the United States here. We talk a little MLB. We're going to be talking a little bit of everything here today, Grumpy Old Man. So if you're new to the channel, you like the content that we produce, if you find the show entertaining, there's a few things that I ask that you do. I ask that you subscribe on YouTube so you don't miss out on any of our future episodes, any of our future podcasts. And I ask that you go ahead and like the video. If you like the video, that's going to go ahead. It's going to tickle the algorithm. It's going to get this podcast out to the masses. And it also lets myself, the Grumpy Old Man, and Son X know that you like the content that we produce. Grump, I think
for those of you who had under 2 minutes for when TJ would throw his daughter on the bus for why the show is starting late, you get the whoopee cushion prize. Thank you very much.
There it is, Grump. Hey, I don't disappoint. What can I say? Well, anyway, in all seriousness, today, right, or I guess yesterday, less than almost 24 hours ago, the big news is Luka Dončić is headed to the Los Angeles Lakers in return for a first-round pick and Anthony Davis.
It's Dončić.
Dončić. Shows you how much I watch basketball.
Well, there was more to the deal than that, so maybe you should pull up.
Well, those are the main pieces that were moved,
right?
No?
But there were other pieces involved too. Yes, I wish X was here. He says he's going to be on in a second.
Max Christie as well.
Max Christie.
And they also got the Lakers got Maxi Kebler and Markieff Morris.
And there was another team involved who wanted getting couple of second round draft picks and something else. So it was a little bit more to it than that.
In the 3-team deal there, also Utah was included in the deal. But the big pieces, right, where Anthony Davis and Luka, they're headed out, and the Mavericks trade away Luka. They get a first round pick and Anthony Davis, 31-year-old injury-prone center, big man Anthony Davis for Luka at 25 years old, bewildered by the entire thing.
Yeah, it was funny because I watched ESPN's coverage and I said, oh my gosh, what a great trade for Dallas. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Did they really say that?
Yeah, they were Kendall Perkins, who's I guess one of their big analysts, and Stephen A. Smith came on, and whoever the girl host was, oh yeah, this is a great deal for Dallas. I'm like, I think you're crazy. This kid's 25. He's a 2-time NBA MVP. He's scored how many times? He scored over 70 points. He led them to the Western Conference Finals last year. And I think Anthony Davis is a good player. He's having a little bit of a resurgence this year, but he is injury prone, and he's 31 years old. I don't get it. I just didn't understand that. I think what the Lakers have done is they said, you know what, okay, LeBron, how many years does he have left?
Yep.
1, 2, who knows, maybe he retires this year. They need a new face of that franchise, and they got one. And now you hear like the rumblings out of Dallas. Well, he came into shape. He came into camp really in shape, but then he got up to 270 pounds. Okay, but you know what? And I've had issues with him not staying in shape myself, and it's caused some injury. Right? He's had a calf injury. He's had a lot of soft tissue injuries. He's just the best player in that deal. There's just no two ways about it. He's by far the best player in that deal. The teams who get the best player win those deals. It's just that plain and simple. I was stunned when I heard that trade. Stunned.
He reminds me of another Eastern European that can't stay in shape. Jokic. I mean, like another one of those guys too that if he took. Here's the thing, that was one of the big criticism of Jokic when he was younger too. Just couldn't stay in shape, didn't show up, and in basketball shape. And he finally, as he became more of a professional, understood what it takes and to do that. And that's when he was winning MVP trophy after MVP trophy. Just unbelievable talent. But Luka is he's so young to be moving away from. And, again, he doesn't play much defense. Who in the NBA and what teams play legitimate defense night in and night out? I mean, like, I just don't see any way how the Dallas Mavericks win this deal.
X, you have any comments on this deal?
Horrible by the Mavericks. They literally traded away their future.
Why do you think that everyone on ESPN said it was a great deal for the Mavericks?
Do they own stock in
Dallas?
No, I was saying, do they own stock in the Lakers? Is that why they're saying that's great?
Well, I'll tell you this: like when you look at it, and I forgot about this, Mark Cuban sold off the majority of the Dallas Mavericks this offseason or last offseason. So this is a new ownership. This is a new majority owner who's in charge of the Mavericks, and this is the big move they make.
It's terrible.
Good way to.
Here's the thing: you want to hear something funny? They won't even allow this trade to go through in the 2K basketball game. If you try and have it happen, it says we're giving up too many assets. This is not gonna. It's not gonna work. The 2K basketball game even knows this is a stupid trade, and this shit happened in real life.
All right, Woody Johnson, are you going to start pulling out NBA ratings to determine who you want to go ahead and pick up in the offseason?
Okay, but just think about it.
I'm just saying, you had a guy who scored 70 points last year and is an MVP. Your team made it to the finals, and you trade that guy away for a 31-year-old who gets hurt every year, isn't even healthy for 4 months out of the season?
I agree. I was just giving you a hard time because you talked about the video games, just like Woody Johnson, the owner of the Jets, talking about how he would influence the GM's decision based off of video game ratings. That's all I was doing.
I also sent you a video about how happy the Dallas Mavericks fans are.
We're gonna play that. Don't you worry. We're gonna take a look live at how well, not live, but we'll take a look at how the Mavericks fans are feeling.
Interesting because he was all set to get a max contract at the end of this year, which I think was 5 years, $69 million per year.
Yep.
And now that's out the window. So for me, if I'm him, I'm playing hardball with the Lakers. I mean, he can leave as a free agent, can he not?
Here's the thing. He's going to make more money in sponsorship deals and things like that for the Lakers than he would getting a max contract for the Dallas Mavericks. That's
maybe he doesn't want to be in Los Angeles.
Okay. You know what?
I think he wants to be somewhere where he can win.
It's like a baseball player saying, I didn't want to play for the Yankees or the Dodgers. You know what I mean? Like that's what it's like saying as a basketball player, I don't want to play for the Lakers or the Celtics. I don't know too many basketball players who don't want to play for those teams.
Greg Maddux said that, and he went to the Atlanta Braves and wound up winning a World Series there.
Imagine how many other World Series he could have won if he was a little smarter.
But not everyone wants to play in a big city. I don't know. I don't know about this guy. I don't know. I'm just saying, I know if it was me, I'd be pissed through the roof that they just cost me money. And you want to trade for me, give me that money.
Now, I do have this. Jason Whitlock weighed in. I'll let you listen to this. This is probably like X's thoughts as well.
Okay. We got to avoid this Luka Dončić trade. David Stern has to come out from his grave.
He's dead,
talk some sense into Adam Silver.
The alien is GM. The alien's the commissioner.
No sense. It undermines the credibility of not just the NBA, but all of professional sports. The credibility of professional sports has never been lower. We spent this entire NFL season talking about officiating. Is it scripted? Are they favoring the Chiefs? Whether that conversation is fair or unfair, it is the conversation happening about America's number one sport, football. We've already had the conversation as it relates to the NBA and the whole Tim Donaghy scandal. We've seen David Stern previously say, hey, look, you can't just give Chris Paul to the Lakers. This is unfair. It looks bad for the league. Nothing the NBA has done looks worse than this, looks more scripted than this. Luka Dončić for a ham sandwich to the Lakers. LeBron James and the NBA have never been less relevant than they are right now. How do we shake things up? Let's send one of the 2 or 3 best players in the league to the Lakers at 25 for a 31-year-old Anthony Davis, who in injury years is a lot closer to 40 than he is 30.
Ooh.
Adam Silver's got to step up here, not just for the NBA, but for all of professional sports. This gambling, television ratings, the whole nine are combining to undermine the credibility of these leagues. The Luka Dončić trade cannot stand. Adam Silver, step up here, void this trade.
When he said that, I was like, I said it checks out. Simple as that. Everything he's saying absolutely checks out to me.
I like Jason Whitlock.
I do too.
I really like him. He's spot on with a lot of his analysis. Not everything, but a lot of his analysis. He's spot on it. And it's funny because today I was watching the Islanders get their ass kicked off the planet against the Florida Panthers.
Was it 6-3?
6-3. And honestly, it wasn't that close. It could have been 55-3. I mean, Florida's so much better. That doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter.
Okay.
But the whole thing was, all you see is gambling commercials.
Oh, yeah.
Everything's gambling commercials. All I see is gambling commercials. Today, I got, hey, you want to do a poll for North Carolina politics? I'm like, sure. And it was all about gambling, legalizing more gambling, having more gambling centers open up, having iGambling. I'm sorry.
Would you like to hear something funny?
Well, let me.
Yes.
In a second. Gambling's a problem. There's a reason why gambling was banned for years and years and years and years, because all it does is it takes, because you know what? It preys on people. I'm not saying everyone, but it's so easy. The easier you make it to gamble away your money, the tougher it is, I think, on your home life. Let's say you're married and all of a sudden, hey, honey, I want to pay the bills. Well, oh, sorry, I don't have it because I just pissed away $500 betting on on my phone, betting on some stupid game. It's a problem. It's getting worse and worse and worse. The leagues are run by the gambling organizations now. They absolutely are.
Well, I think, and speaking about gambling, I'll let you to make your X. How quick of a comment you have? Is it quick?
It's pretty quick.
Funny. Yeah. What's the funny thing?
So apparently, American Airlines now has added where you can gamble on your flight. So you can gamble on sporting events, then also gamble on stuff that's going on in your flight.
If you land,
you're about to say if you land, but
yeah,
better. Anyway,
well, no, that's what they said. They said it's literally if your plane's gonna land or have no issues. So that's one of them, and then I think the other one is duration of flight. So if it's supposed to be a 2-hour flight, is it actually going to be 2 hours, or do you think it's going to be over 2 hours?
It sounds like you're making this shit up.
I'm not. Look it up. Look it up.
I'll pull it up.
You know what? You get in cahoots with the pilots. You win every time. Pilots should be able to gamble then, right?
Right.
We're going to circle that airport one more time to get me over that 2 hour and 1 minute mark.
So the issue, though, it prohibits. X, what are you talking about?
Look it up.
No, it prohibits. I'm looking at it right now. American Airlines prohibits gambling on board of its aircrafts.
They said they're passing something where they're going to allow gambling on the planes.
Oh, okay. You're wrong. I'm looking at it right now.
You're not even allowed to use Wi-Fi unless you pay for it on those flights.
It says in-flight sports gambling could be the industry's next frontier. It's not. It's okay. It's not legal. Okay, just like I thought. Anyway, getting back to what my thoughts are. The reason gambling is such an issue is because people really don't understand statistics. When you're talking about, oh yeah, this could happen, that could happen, they think, oh great, I know about the sport and I know what happens, and they just start saying, great, I'm going to gamble it. Yeah, great, these are great odds they're giving me right there, and they don't understand when they're doing these same game parlays how statistically, how much of an anomaly it is that you're going to hit on that on a consistent basis. So it's. Yeah, I don't know. I'm big anti-gambling. As funny as that is that we have the DraftKings commercial on our other show, but I'm about as anti-gamble as you could be. I
kind of liked it when gambling was in the shadows. You had to work for it a little bit. I don't like it when Joe Lunchpail and
let me just go ahead and pull it up on my phone and go ahead and place a $500 wager on who's winning the Western hockey game tonight.
It's the same reason that I only use cash when I buy things because it's too easy.
You do not.
Everything's on your phone. Just
do not lie. You do not only use cash when you buy things. That is absolutely a lie.
And I'll use a credit card.
Okay, so yes. But, so don't just say
but I know how much
cash to buy.
Okay, but I know how much. If I'm going to a grocery store, or I'm going anywhere. I'm just not, oh, here, let me just bang, hit this with your phone, hit this. There's no way for you to track how much you're spending. I know how much money I spend. There's no doubt about it. And let me tell you something, when you two were younger, I took out a set dollar amount every single week. And guess what? If we ran out of money before the end of the week, tough shit, you're going to have to suck it up because we lived on a budget. I mean, that's just the way it was. It's just too easy to overspend when you just boop, boop, boop.
Well,
boop,
yeah,
boop.
It's a lot different. Again, like people who don't use cash. I trust you. We're going to finish this up for the new listeners of the show. We're going to get back to sports, but for people who don't, who haven't used cash in a while, it feels a lot different when you're paying $200 in cash, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. 120, and you're paying like that all the way up to 200, and you're like, holy shit. It's a lot different than you're just like, nah, just I'll just hit my little credit card and move right along. It definitely feels a lot different when you're it feels a lot more, you're like, oh shit.
Absolutely.
So, I understand, Grub.
Cash is king.
Yeah. So I will pull this up because there were.
Bless you.
Sorry, thank you. I like how all the other sports are now trying to explain this, like in their sports, their sports world, how it actually makes sense. Like, what is this in terms of baseball? And they said this is essentially like trading away Bobby Witt Jr. for Corbin Burns and saying afterwards it's because pitching wins championships.
Yeah, no one makes that deal. Like I said, I was astounded. I'm like, there has to be more to it than that.
I thought it was a joke at first. I was like, it's a little early for April.
Now, in my defense, I thought when they said Luka Dončić, I thought they would talk about the guy from Denver.
Joking.
So,
he did think live. It was like he's like, oh yeah, that he's won multiple MVPs. I'm like, no, I think he's only got one. Anyway, so this is Jason Kidd.
He looks defeated.
He's the coach of the team.
He said, I might as well just hang it up.
Here's your GM. Let's go ahead and listen to this minute-long clip.
And I'd like to give Rob Pelinka a lot of credit. Trades, you guys have been around here. Trades don't happen at the smallest level without stuff getting out.
Who's this idiot?
Rob and I were able to have, really intense conversations over the course of, 3 or 4 weeks that started out as a coffee that, was more, hey, would you ever?
Looks like a future failed GM to me.
And then it built upon that. And, we kept it between us. We had to keep it tight. Jay Kidd didn't know about it.
You could tell.
Kid and I are aligned, and we talk about archetypes, and we talk about the culture that we want to create. So I know
I don't think so.
Type of players that he likes without actually talking to him. Hey, would you like?
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
Hold on. Let's finish.
It looks like he's a hostage. He's in a hostage situation.
Let's listen to it, and then we'll talk about it.
So I know that, and J Kidd coached them when they won a championship. So I think when you're aligned with your coach like that, I know the type of players that he likes. And so I felt good about it making sense to where we're trying to go. And I'd like to give oh,
yikes. How bad does that sound?
Look at Jason Kidd. It looks like he's being held hostage. There's a gun to his head. Can we pull up the Dallas Maverick roster right now?
They have Kyrie.
Kyrie's what, 30 what?
Yeah, he's old.
Anthony Davis, 31. Look at the age of that roster. Tell me that was a good move for them. I'm sorry. And let's like this guy here, he must be the future failed GM of the Dallas Mavericks.
I heard as a part-time he's the GM of the Falcons.
Klay Thompson, Kyrie Irving, PJ Washington, Derek Lively.
Derek Lively's young and good.
Yes.
Klay Thompson's washed.
Klay Thompson. Okay, when you talk about some of the better players on your team, you're like Klay Thompson, Kyrie Irving, and Anthony Davis. Yikes.
They're all well in their 30s. All of them.
Yeah.
Klay Thompson isn't even anything near what he was previously. But just look at the ages on these guys. I mean, Lively's young. But here's the thing: you could have built around Lively and Washington
is pretty good. Yeah,
and Luka Dončić. You didn't need Anthony Davis. Does he make you a contender? I don't think so. I mean, he's going to be great for the defense. Okay, you won't be able to score. Who's going to score?
Here's the big thing. He won't be available because he's going to be hurt.
But they say, Lively's hurt. Well, now it can put Anthony Davis in his preferred position, which is power forward. Okay, good luck. Good luck guarding on the outside. It was honestly as a non-NBA guy, I was astounded how dumb that trade was. I can't believe the guys on ESPN think, boy, this was a really great deal for Dallas. And Lakers aren't winning a championship with Luka Dončić. They need to do a lot more. Well, they weren't winning one with Anthony Davis either. I hate to tell you.
No.
What people are
need a big man though now. They
people are
absolutely
starting to think there's a lot of conspiracy theories around, what actually is going to happen with it. They think that it was a trade that was designed to just try to help out LeBron.
Spark interest.
Yep. And try to get eyes back on a TV set. They're thinking it's like, oh gosh, there must be something else behind it because that trade is so asinine in nature that people cannot fathom it.
And he also said now, LeBron came out and said he's not going to waive his no trade clause.
Yep.
Now.
And he said he's going to stay after whatever his contract is. He's going to stay longer now.
Yep.
I think it was absolutely a move to juice that franchise. Knows that it's a marquee franchise, right? We talk about the marquee franchises in sports. The Lakers and the Celtics are the marquee franchises in the NBA. They just are. So you're always seeing those teams get mostly the Lakers and mostly the Lakers. They always get somebody in some far-fetched deal that nobody thinks should happen. They always manage to get that player, always. If it wasn't Shaq a long time ago, or even Kareem going way, way, way back, or the trade to get Magic Johnson.
What about Kobe?
Well, yeah, that's right. Kobe also. But you think about all these trades over the years that they're just giving up, a bag of rocks and getting a superstar. It just happens way too frequently, in my opinion, way too frequently.
It's like, are these other teams getting kickbacks?
And I have nothing. I don't have a dog in the fight here at all when it comes to the NBA, but it's a really bad look.
Here's live when you can see when Durant and his teammates saw the trade come across the phone. Just look at the reaction.
Where's Plumlee?
Is this during the game?
Yeah.
Yes.
What the fuck are they doing with phones on the court?
I don't think. Okay, KD's not playing.
KD.
That's Kevin Durant.
Oh.
I just told you Kevin Durant and his teammates are seeing the trade come through live.
I didn't realize you said Kevin Durant.
Yeah. He just left just like, look at the reaction to this. The Kevin Durant's like, what the hell just happened?
He plays for Phoenix now, right?
Yes. That's the Phoenix Suns.
Then they got some old Duke players right there, Grayson Allen.
Yeah. And then Plumlee. Sure.
Yeah.
Anyway, again, like around the league, it was kind of questioned as well. I tell you. So, I now I did find some funny. There was some good. There was some good mixed in with this bad. Now here's a good one. The Giants, my goodness, not re-signing Saquon Barkley might be the worst decision a team has made in a very long time. The Mavericks, Grumpy, came out of nowhere to go ahead and usurp that title.
They had one with Jerry Jones celebrating that he's not the worst GM in history.
Well, here it is. So
this
is the one I sent me. Let's go ahead and watch here.
Why are we trading the best player, the franchise player? How are we trading the franchise player? He's supposed to have a statue. Hell yeah. Dirk got a statue right there. It's supposed to be Luka right there. Why we don't got a statue for Luka? Because we got bum-ass management.
Yeah. Maybe I'm going to kill myself,
Oh, no.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
There's a new owner, Miriam Adelson. If you're watching this, you got to sell the team by midnight. He works for the team. Yo, get him. He works for the team.
Get him.
I agree. Insurrection in the stadium. This new management is putting profit over fans. Sell the team. Sell the team. Sell the team. I'm here to tell you guys right now, it's not over. Let me tell you why. The trade happened on the weekend. The NBA office is open tomorrow, 7 o'clock in the morning. Adam Silver didn't sign the paperwork yet. We got to sabotage the trade. It's not over. We're bringing Luka back. We're bringing him back.
Hey, how you feel, bro?
Disappointed.
Hey, you kind of look like Luka, to be honest. Hey, put on the jersey, bro.
We went to the NBA.
All righty, so
good luck. Good luck. You know who I feel the worst for?
The fans.
The season ticket package salesman.
Oh yeah, sure.
They're not selling season tickets next year.
Can we look?
They got nothing in return. Anthony Davis is a good player. Okay, he is.
Does he put butts in the seats?
No, he
absolutely not.
He does not.
Maybe back when he played for the Pelicans.
Shit.
When he was drafted, not anytime soon. He ain't.
Well, I did like that. People are trying to call on, hey, go ahead and don't push it through. Prevent them from accepting the trade.
They've had trades canceled before. Commissioners have canceled trades before. Back in the 1970s, Charlie Finley tried to sell players because he couldn't sign. He sold Joe Rudy to the Boston Red Sox. He sold Vita Blue.
He died, by the way, today.
No, he did not.
The GM did.
No, he did not.
MLB commissioner did.
Okay.
Yes, he did.
Stop.
He
Full
did.
Stop. You know what you're talking about.
He's
Okay. Dead. Bowie Kuhn was the commissioner back then. He's been dead a long time ago. We'll talk about Faye Vincent later. But Charlie Finley, who was the Oakland A's owner, tried to sell players, Vita Blue, Joe Rudy, Catfish Hunter. He tried to sell them to other teams so he could get money in return from them. And the commissioner stepped in and said, no, it's not good for the game of baseball for you to trade players for money. And they wound up losing all those players that offseason to free agency, and the team spiraled after that. And commissioners can step in and say, this is not good. This is not for the good of the league. You want to know how all this thing started? When they started giving the players power to pick and choose what teams they can go to. The only teams they would go to via trades. Well, no. And so to create the super teams, it's hurt the league. It really has. Viewership has not been as down in this league since, I want to say, the late 70s, early 80s.
Since they were showing Magic and Larry Bird saved the league, right?
That's right. When they were showing the NBA championship games on it, tape delay at 11:30 at night. That's how bad the NBA was back then, and how people didn't want it. They had drug issues and a whole bunch of other things, but it wasn't until Magic and Larry came into the league that it took off. That was the turning point for the NBA when those two guys came in the league.
Yep, absolutely. Now, I don't think I have too much more to cover, at least on that trade. It was kind of funny to watch that fan go ballistic. That's always funny to see. But I mean, big win for the Lakers. Yep. They get themselves another marquee guy that will be very marketable, I mean, for years to come. So big move for the Lakers.
True.
X, let's get through some comments here, and then we'll start jumping into some other topics we have.
Greg Prado says, nice glasses, Greg. Gentlemen, I am Greg Prado. Remember me? Grumpy, I wanted to check in to see if your life has changed dramatically after being interviewed for the hit book Hapless Islanders. Autographs, photo ops? No, I'm always besieged by autograph seekers. It does not matter what I do interviews for, but yes, as I've mentioned many times, excellent book by Greg Prado with the picture art by his wife.
Well, Grumpy, when people are asking for your autographs, do you actually sign?
Of course I do.
Oh, that's
I'm a man of the people. I'm not one of these people.
Man of the people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, somebody wants my autograph, I'll give it to him. Why not? It's not worth much on the open market.
Freedom Fund Adventure.
Who wants to live in California? Not me. Most mocks have your Giants taking Sanders with the first pick. That's what I was going to say. That the Giants GM says, hey, I let Barkley go. That was the worst move. They tried to one-up me. No, I'm going to draft Shedeur Sanders with the number 3 overall pick. Sure. That'll put me back as the worst GM in the league.
Yikes.
If it happens, how will you feel? TJ's largest meltdown ever? That kid's going to bust out.
I won't need to watch the Giants for another 4 or 5 years. It'll be 4 because they probably won't pick up the option on them. But I don't have to worry about watching any Giants games for another 4 years. When they drafted Daniel Jones, I said, I don't have to worry about watching any Giants games until he's gone. So,
what do you mean he's good, man? Come on.
Other rumors are that the Las Vegas Raiders are hot for Shedeur Sanders, and Tom Brady's been working with him.
Yeah, Tom Brady, I think probably thinks the Cam Ward kid is better.
He's running the show in Las Vegas, though.
I know he is.
He's running the show. Tom Brady is running the show in Las Vegas. Freedom Front Bench says, fear not, Grumpy. Baby Liza will definitely model you for how she talks to TJ. You illiterate bastard. Why are you always late? Fat bastard. How does she like X and Charlotte's favorite dog? Okay, first of all, X is the one who uses fat bastard on TJ. I don't think I think you illiterate bastard. Have I used that? Probably.
Yes,
why are you always late? I think I've absolutely said that. And little baby loves the dog. The dog, I always used to say, his tongue, he's got one of those big long tongues and he likes to slither it on you. I call it his lick stick. And he was wearing her out with that, but she loved him. She loved it to death. And as far as the dog's concerned, she's like a walking meal. Kids, when they eat, they got stuff on their hands. He'd clean their hands all the time. Anything fell on the floor, he suck it right up. He loves her. They both love one another, honestly.
Yep. I would agree.
It says, where will Pete Alonso wind up signing? Will Scott Boras be left whining? I think he's already whining. He had an opportunity to sign with the Mets last offseason for way more than he's going to get this year for way more years. I don't think there's a market for him. I just don't. I think he eventually goes back to the Mets, and there's going to be hard feelings. He wanted to go to the Mets on a 3-year deal with opt-outs after every year. How does that work for the Mets?
Right.
How does that work for the Mets at like $27 million per? How does that work for the Mets? He can't field. He doesn't hit for average. He hits some home runs. That's it. I'm sorry, no. And if he didn't have a big postseason where, he single-handedly beat Milwaukee, who knows what his mark will be? It's even less than now. You're seeing a lot of guys on the outside looking in. Alex Bregman, no one's interested in him. All Boras clients, by the way.
Yep. I tell you, Boras, how old's Scott Boras these days?
Pretty freaking old. He's in his 70s.
Maybe he's just lost the touch. Maybe he's overplayed his hand year after year after year. People said, F it, we're not bothering with it anymore. And he's ended up on the outside. Think about it. Who else was another Boras client who was the pitcher?
Jordan Montgomery.
Blake Snell, who got absolutely nothing, too, when he signed that 1-year deal. I mean, but he's losing consistently.
But Snell opted out this year, and he wound up getting a big deal with whoever he signed with. I forget.
Dodgers.
The Dodgers. He signed with the Dodgers, too?
With a whole bunch of deferred comp. Yep.
Okay. I didn't realize he signed with Dodgers. But so that's, so he comes in out of win. Okay. But yeah, the last couple of years been tough for him because they just don't want to pay those salaries anymore. The TV money is dried up in baseball. Bally Sports went out or is no longer fulfilling their baseball commitments. So that's a lot less money than that the MLB teams have to spend. They're not getting those big contracts anymore from the TV, for the local TV deals. It hurts them. Freedom Fund Adventure says, gambling is a vice. It's way too prevalent and not good for society. I agree. Massive jail for leagues pushing gambling. If they are fixing games, would be a massive scandal. It does not shock me.
They definitely fix games.
You are going to see.
There
will be a whistleblower that doesn't get, because I guarantee you these refs are paid to keep their mouths shut. It's eventually going to get to the time period. One of them are on their deathbed and they're like, screw it. I want the world to burn. Let's go ahead and release this. Or B, they're not going to pay somebody and they're just going to be like, no problem, then I'll just talk. That's what you're going to see.
I don't think it's that obvious. I think it's more of the way that they put pressure on them. It's like, hey, I noticed last game you missed a whole bunch of calls against the Chiefs. Is there a reason you're doing that? Remember, we've got a whole bunch of people that we can replace you with. I think they do that type of pressure. So it's not something you could directly link back where people, because that's fraud. That's material fraud that somebody get life in prison for. If you're fixing a multi-billion-dollar operation with
they did it in the NBA. They did it in the NBA.
It was
you had officials coming out and admitting that they did
it. One official went to jail. The other guys got off free. And he even said, we all talked about it all the time, how we're going to slow this guy down.
With Allen Iverson.
That's right. If the NBA is not going to stop him from saying shit, we're going to hurt him. And they do. They absolutely do. To think that these guys have no bias is just crazy. This week, early in the week, they had, I don't know if it was on the McAfee show or Dan Patrick, Dean Blandino, who's one of the talking head referee guys for the NFL, his brother said that he feels the games are fixed and that his brother gets paid big money and has to sign an NDA, non-disclosure agreement, which I think is, wow. That to me, that spoke volumes. It's like, okay.
All I'm going to say is you're welcome. I've been saying this for how many years now? Y'all said I was a fool.
Good.
An NDA, honestly, for a situation like that, should be a red flag to everyone.
Go ahead, Eric.
I've called it first. I've called it since day one that this stuff is fixed. That's all I'm going to say. I've been calling it all along.
I think that's a good segue. Talking about fixed. Grumpy, since our last show, he was big on the Bills. Bills are going to the Super Bowl. Bills. I remember I told you, Grump, as always, you don't bet against the Chiefs. I don't watch any of the games the Chiefs play because it's quite obvious how they all turn out. And I'm happy I didn't waste time besides about 5 plays watching that Bills game. Oh, but don't you worry. You could see plenty of missed calls or pertinent calls that didn't go the way of the Bills that all happened to go the way of the Chiefs. And it's funny. Like Whitlock talked about it earlier. Everybody's talking about that narrative is, wow, there's a lot of calls that are all going the way of the Chiefs. So now the weird ones that I saw was Adam Schefter. This is Adam Schefter's account before the game. Penalties during the Chiefs' 8-game winning streak in the playoffs. Roughing the passers, 0 against the Chiefs, 6 against opponents. Unnecessary roughness, 1 against the Chiefs, 4 against opponents. Okay, when Adam Schefter's tweeting shit out like that,
it's a problem.
Whoa, that's a problem.
And that's, if you remember, I think the show, not last show, but the one 2 shows ago, I said the fact that people are talking about this is problematic for the NBA, for the NFL, because it takes a long time for that mindset to kick in. It really does. And when people are talking more about officials or the spectacle of the game than the actual game, it's the downfall of the league is on the way. It absolutely not. I realize ratings are as high as they've ever been, but when people are just like, this doesn't seem on the level, and the halftime show or intermission or the pregame is more important than the actual game itself, it's a problem. Or the ridiculous, okay, this is roughing on this, but it's not roughing the other way. It's a problem. And when people are talking about it, normies, I'm not talking about people who watch all the time, normies, that's a real issue. Oh, there we go.
I will say this was one of the best executive actions that Trump signed. No more rigged Chiefs games. I'm all for that one, Donnie. Sign that one up.
Just FYI, I don't know if you guys were aware of this as well. So the line judge on that 4th down play who called Josh Allen short,
that was bad.
Wouldn't you guess he has family ties to Kansas City and also is a Baltimore Ravens fan. He's a known Baltimore Ravens fan.
Let's pull up some of this that happened because there were a lot of calls that were just like the fans are upset. They're just stringing together missed call after missed call after missed call, and the fans, I think rightfully so, are upset. Now, here's the problem. The Bills, just like always, just like Sean McDermott always does, found a way to lose. He is a shitty coach.
They were never winning that game.
I'm not saying he wasn't, but he is a bad coach. When you're missing 4th and 1, when you're chasing 2-point conversions when you didn't have to, it cost them the game because they're stupid. Now, did the officials help? No, they did not. Did Sean McDermott help? No, he did not. And it's just like the one thing you're never going to get in this scenario is the officials to be in the favor of the Bills. You know you're already playing against a stacked hand, and you're also having to play against your coach. That's a big issue, X. I mean, like,
you know what? If I was an owner of a team, I'd really stick it to the league and say, guess what? We're not playing. Have fun losing out on money. We're not playing.
Okay.
Don't show up to the Super Bowl.
No problem. Okay. Unless we can pick the officiating crew that's out there, we're not going out there to play.
Okay. The bigger crime, like I said, Sean McDermott's he's not a big game coach. I think he's really good in the regular season, but he chokes in the big game. That used to be Andy Reid's problem until he got Mahomes. Then all of a sudden, he's winning those games.
You mean till he got the refs?
Okay. But the fact is, James Cook didn't touch the ball in the last 9.5 minutes of that game. Not once. Where he should have been they couldn't stop James Cook. Kansas City could not stop the running game.
The refs would have stopped him.
Okay, but
just like how the ball went through Dalton Kincaid's hands on that play, and they already had a pre-thrown flag,
and then they picked it up when he dropped
exactly it. Right, shocker. Yeah.
Yep. I don't.
You're not going to beat the refs. Okay. You're just not going to do it.
Okay, but what do I keep saying? You have to execute plays.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You can execute the play, and they'll call you for holding. They'll call you for something else, and they'll just bring it back.
Okay,
they do it all the time.
Okay, but if you can't execute plays, it doesn't matter anyway. You have to be able to execute. Buffalo could not. They stopped Kansas City all day, except when it mattered. And the last time they had the ball, they let them convert 2 big 3rd downs. They didn't deserve to win because they could not execute. They did not. Sorry.
Well, Grumpy, I do want to ask you, if they had this kid, do you think that they would execute a little bit better? Oh, isn't
that Scar? Yeah.
Come on, bro. I'm not a touchdown. It's a
Mouth was too big for his mouth.
Thank God, finally.
Gassed up shorty, said I need my 40, pull up to the party. Yeah.
Why are we wasting our time on this guy?
This is the shit that X sends me.
This is We Hoopin'. That is We Hoopin' 2.0, baby. We Hoopin'
Why
a
are we
man.
wasting our time when we could talk about sports opposed to these fools?
Scar, baby.
I don't know who that is.
Great. He gave himself a concussion the other day.
Anyway, so getting back to the poor calls, though, across the board, we'll take a look at it. Now, here's one. This is a questionable one. That did help the Chiefs move down the field. Now, I'll say it looked clearly like a drop or an incomplete pass, but I'll let you watch
the ground.
I'll let you watch it.
Early in the field, stands is called. Is it Kansas City catch? And first down and goal.
He didn't even have a hand on the ball. He has his hand on top of the ball. The ball.
All right, let's listen to it, because even the announcers talk about how it should have been called a catch. So again, we can say what we want, but the people who are paid by the network are like, oh yeah, I don't see that one as being the correct call. That should tell you should put up red flags.
That's right.
Well, let's listen.
Catch and first down and goal.
Oh, Tony, I know you're not going to agree with this one.
Well,
I want to see. There's the hand. The white glove has to have possession of that. So right there, he doesn't get the left, and that ball hits. And I could see it, because you can't completely say no, but that ball hits pretty. I don't know if you have possession for it. Gene?
The other thing you're saying is Worthy's pinning it there. Now, when it comes down and it makes contact with the ground,
He does not have the ball.
Move enough to say that caused loss.
So yes, I thought that was it was a miss. But again, it's not like that.
It's okay, because they already thrown a flag on Buffalo as well to make sure.
Yeah.
This one travels.
I hear where they missed a few blocks behind.
I think it should be maximum penalty for these people when they screw up. Death penalty.
Okay, you're going to have to slow that up, because we can't see anything.
Okay. I'll put it slow for you. Don't worry about it. There you go, buddy.
Make a big screen, too.
I'll make a big screen.
That's a block in the back.
The 41 gets blocked in behind.
That's a hole.
You can't. Anyway, and again, it's not like that's the end of the world. It's not like that's the end of the world. But here's the thing: that Chiefs offense could not move the football. That's a hold right there.
Another hold. Another hold. They're holding all over the field,
and they didn't call a singular penalty.
Yeah,
that team could not move the football against the Bills.
They're going to struggle against the Eagles. Moving the
ball. They're not. You are delusional if you think that they're going to lose. You are absolutely delusional.
All I said was they're going to struggle moving the ball against.
No, they won't. They'll just hold every play or false start every play.
Okay.
Or get catches that count them when the ball's hitting the ground. That's all they need.
Okay.
Well,
the Eagles have the best lines in.
They're going to call them for holding every single play. I'm going to tell you that right now.
This is the one that bothered me the most, was this play right here. This is the one that burned my ass.
Yep, here it is. You know how big of an issue taunting is in the NFL, and how
they let Fuckstick do whatever the hell he wants out there, and then they flag the other guy. Somebody just should have kicked him right in the fucking balls, right up to where those are ingrown testicles. Yeah, okay.
Now somebody goes over and confronts Kelsey, and he got a 15-yard penalty.
That's right.
Just was like, ooh. I'm like, yikes. I just don't know how they get called like that. It's bad. I mean, like, it's always just consistent. I think they had. Now, Travis Kelce did get fined. He did get fined for it. Here's the full clip.
After he was across, Hamlin taking him to the ground. And Kelce
look at Travis Kelce over here.
Yeah, he's that's a personal foul for taunting right there.
Listen to the announcing crew. Listen to how they describe this, because this should be a 15-yard penalty. Listen to how they describe cute little Travis Kelce doing this.
This is where it started with the hit after he was across, Hamlin taking him to the ground.
Tackle. What the hell?
Came over and said, "What's up with that?" 2 touchdowns by the Chiefs.
Chelsea knows how to get under your skis. Like, yep, that happened. And Phillips comes in.
And a little.
There's Captain Cup right there getting ready to throw the flag.
I really would love to see somebody splinter his leg clean in half. I really want to see him just break the literal shit out of his leg.
One other thing. DeMar Hamlin is a good story. He's a shitty player.
Oh, come on.
He should not be a starter on any team that's any good.
I would love if he got crippled in the Super Bowl. I would turn it on to watch him crawl off the freaking field. I would do it. I would watch to see his bone sticking clean out of his leg.
Who is it that you're hoping for bone splinterage? Who is this?
Oh, it's Travis Kelce, absolutely.
Okay, yeah,
you know what I hope happens? A little Batman 3 opening scene, Bane blowing up the stadium, having the whole entire field collapse.
Actually, better hope you don't run across Jason Kelce, because you said that right there. He's going to pick up your phone and Gronkowski.
That's right. He's going to throw my phone in the ground. That's right.
Watch out.
That's right. He's going to throw my laptop into the ground.
Yeah.
While he's drinking a case of cold beer.
No sort of impulse control at all. Somebody says,
and then he'll give some half-ass apology on air. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh.
Kansas City can't stop the run.
It doesn't matter. The league can stop the run. Okay. The league can stop the run all they want.
Kansas City can't stop the run.
We've been discussing this shit for the last 3 years, and I've told you this thing over and over and over again.
I'm picking the Eagles. Kansas City can't
delusional.
Guess what? Can't stop the run.
Guess what? I'm picking the team that's been forced down our throat for the last 2 years because it's about to happen again for the three-peat. I'm picking the Chiefs because that's what the league wants, and the league gets what they want. Roger Goodell determines who we should like.
Head around.
Roger Goodell determines who we should like. Roger Goodell determines who we should like. Just like the WWE rammed John Cena down our throat, they're going to ram the Chiefs down our throat whether we want it or not.
Whether you want it or not, Grub.
TJ,
I'm not watching the Super Bowl unless there's an injury to a Chiefs player. That's the only time I'll flip it on.
Hey,
that's it.
TJ, do you ever notice when X gets really worked up, he starts swinging that sea serpent neck around?
Oh yeah. But
dirty over there.
I'll tell you this though. I do believe that the games and the officials definitely are in favor of the Chiefs. I do believe, again, like this scene right here was the one that drove me nuts. I'll let you know. Dave Portnoy has been very vocal about the poor officiating crew.
It's obvious first down. I don't. I'm like,
we'll watch both plays here.
The biggest hose job I've ever fucking seen. First of all, this 3rd and 3 play, this spot is disgusting. Knees not down. That's a first down. So that spot off. That's a bad spot right there by I don't know, half a yard right there. And then we're going to go for it on 4th down, which we all know what happens. But the fact that these refs, who decides where? First of all,
that's over.
Clearly a first down. It's like not even fucking close. And then what is this?
The line judge, hit pause. The line judge that's next to 20 right there rules it a first down. And the guy who can't even see the effing ball is saying that he's short. And they go with the guy who can't see. They go with the Baltimore Raven fan, Kansas City family boy as picking the spot for the ball.
That's right. That guy the guy who can see the ball, he's the guy who's got to make that call, not the guy who can't see the ball.
Correct.
It's the ball, but the whole body was over the line. It's just poor officiating. Just poor officiating.
Well, again, the poor officiating always happens to go in one team's favor, which is why a lot of people are very conspiratorial about this, and I think rightfully so. I really do.
I don't see how, I just get frustrated watching. I can only imagine if I was out there on the field. If you see that your team's getting hosed left and right, take 15 and blow out Mahomes' knee. Take 15 and say, you know what? That's fine. You don't get your storybook ending because I'm taking this guy out.
I'll tell you what.
Good luck.
McDermott has no fucking heart. He's an absolute puss. When you see like you're getting hosed like that, I need to see a guy make a spectacle of it and make it to where it's national news, where it's like he just yelled at. He got a 15-yard penalty. He was yelling and screaming up and down the field. He's throwing shit at an official where it's like, boom, we got to almost toss you from the game. It's getting that violent because that's the only way to showcase how bad it is. That it really is. It really is.
Throw the bench out there, the water, the Gatorade coolers, chuck them out there.
Are you giving one of the referees the Gatorade bath or X?
Oh, I'd hit him with the jug full. Maybe it'll knock some sense into him. It'll start making correct calls.
You really want to make a point? Just walk the whole team. We're going.
That's what I said. Just don't go play. The Eagles should just not play in the Super Bowl. That would really send a message. Don't play in the Super Bowl. Your team has no chance to win.
And just say, I'm not paying. We're not paying the fine.
Yep. Nope.
And the owner said, we're not paying the fine.
Let's watch this.
Close. And then what is this? That one rep is way past it. Another one's a foot off. You just randomly decide where you're throwing the football. Like, what if the other guy got the spot? This is the most disgusting thing. I'm not watching football ever again. I quit football. I quit. First of all, he only has to get to the line. Are you kidding me? I quit football. It's not even close. I quit football. The biggest hose job I've.
So yeah, it was about as bad as it gets. Now here's the freeze frame. Quite obviously, he's at the line to game.
Yeah.
Dave did happen to speak again on it.
Mine just guts ripped out. I feel for all of Buffalo. Let me tell you something. The refs should be in fucking prison. Refs should be in prison. That 4th down spot changed the whole game. McDermott should be in prison. The Bills coach or whoever. That tush push that they run, that they kept running, that doesn't work. And yeah, the refs fucked you. Do they not know what tush push is? You put 2 fucking linemen, huge guys, and you push. They don't do that. I think Dalton Kincaid should have fucking caught that pass, but whatever. You have the ball down 3, and you could have asked for more. Yeah, the refs fucked you. Yes, the tush push, absolutely the dumbest. Like, I can't get over doing a tush push without the push. You're just doing step back quarterback sneak. Tony Romo has for 2 weeks said no one can stop that. No one can shut up Tony Romo. Also shut up Tony Romo being like the biggest decision of the game. They'll go for it. You think they'll go for it on 4th and fucking 5 with 2 minutes? You fucking idiot. The refs, that spot you have to change. Get technology in there. Guy pushes him off. The refs in prison. Goodell in prison. McDermott in prison. Romo in prison.
Okay, pause it.
I need.
Go ahead.
So a funny story, Next Gen Stats actually has that technology already implemented in the game. And guess what? The ball that they showed did in fact cross the line.
The NFL came out today and said they're looking at technology which will correctly spot the ball. Okay. How does that help Buffalo? They get screwed every year. And here's the thing though. Buffalo didn't execute. They had the opportunity. They did not execute because their head coach is a fucking moron, just like the fucking moron in Detroit cost them. And guess what? Just like the shithead in Washington cost them last week. There are reasons why those guys are out.
To think the Eagles are going to win is delusional. That's all I'm going to say.
One more clip, and we'll talk about the game. We'll pick winners because we'll probably be going live before or after.
Yeah, during the game. We can do it during the game.
I won't be watching. His spot was coming in about a foot inside the 40. Then the near side linesman came in and said he was short of it. They had 2 different marks. Let's see what they come with.
After review, the ruling in the field stands as called. It'll be first down in Kansas City.
That's game.
Wow. I mean, you got to give. I mean, that's so close. It's whatever the call was. I don't think you could overturn it. Kansas City came in with a plan. Nobody could stop this. Here's the line. Does the ball cross that?
Yes.
Definitively?
Yes.
The whole body was across the line.
Anybody with a fully functioning brain could see that cross the line.
I felt like he gained it by about a third of the football, Jim. That was just my take on the play. Tough play.
I agree.
Yeah.
He looks bad with the rule guy.
Buffalo. That's what it said. Tough shit, Buffalo. Sorry.
Yep. And now they talk about the 3rd down play, too.
But the Chiefs take over on downs. Looking to strike right after taking it over on downs.
I would have run his ass.
I would have.
Pile on. Don't help him up. What are you doing helping him up? Kick him in the fucking mouth. Don't help him up.
This is what we were discussing.
This is your point right here. Watch him up here.
Where he's going to mark it.
Yes. He's in front of the line. He's got to move around someone. He's below the line on the bottom. Well, those are 2 very different spots. And then line judge at the top ends up coming back inside the line. And that is as important a call as any of these teams have had all season.
So yeah, again, they're talking about it too. It's bad when the TV crew is talking about it because it's so blatant.
Okay, here's the thing. At the end of the day, they don't care. All they care about is making money. And guess what? If they're getting eyes on the television set, that's all they care about. I'm not wrong.
You are wrong.
They're making hand over fist money.
How do you get people to turn the TVs off?
Until people actually turn it off, they don't give a shit.
When people think
is their viewership going down? Is their viewership going down?
Viewership is down.
You're wrong.
Is absolutely down.
You're wrong.
Viewership is down. Viewership is not what it was 5 years ago. It's just not.
You're wrong.
I'll pull it up. Don't worry. Okay, get to your next point.
Next comment, please.
Are we not going to talk about who's going to win the game?
Oh, well, you didn't say next point. I don't know what you were talking
next point. I didn't know. I don't need to keep hearing about the view. Like, you're just going to argue. Yes, it is. No, it's not. Let me pull it up.
That's X. That's the X thing. It usually is an hour a day. I have to hear that.
Before we put this up, let's make our claims as to who we think is going to win the Super Bowl. Grumpy is for
Eagles
the Eagles.
By 10. Eagles by 10.
Okay, X, who are you?
Chiefs. Doesn't matter what the score is, they're winning.
I think so. You think it's the Chiefs because
I think it's impossible for the Chiefs to lose.
Okay, I just want your reasoning is referees.
Sorry,
okay, that's fine. I'm going to take a more analytical approach to the game as opposed to refs.
I take the actual approach.
Okay, so I'm going to say the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs are good defensively. I think they're not very good defensively, and the Eagles have the top defense in the league, and they have the best offensive line in the league. Those two guys on the interior of their defensive line, they get pressure in Carter and who's the other guy, the big guy? Davis. Carter and Davis. You cannot move them, period. They clog that middle. They dominate the line of scrimmage. Philadelphia is dominant on the line of scrimmage, both sides of the ball. That's why I'm picking them to win.
So just
look at this.
It's down 2% from a year ago at the same time period. That being said, I think long term it's not good for the product. I mean, it's still down.
It doesn't matter. People are still going to watch.
Okay.
I still think people are going to watch, but eventually, because here's the thing.
The NBA said that too.
Well,
the NBA said the same thing.
So the NBA, when you lose the fans, they don't come back.
That's right.
They don't come back until they have an overwhelming reason to come back because they're so disgruntled and dissatisfied with the product. It's like Islander fans. When the Islanders suck year after year after year, what's the only thing to make Islander fans come back? You got to start winning a whole shit ton of games. You got to start having success. Eventually, just get to the point where it's like, oh, it's a foregone conclusion we're going to suck, or it's a foregone conclusion we're going to be in the middle of no man's land. And eventually, people just tune it out. They know the conclusion already. There's no interest for them to continue. Now, I think the Chiefs win this game. Just do. I don't think the Chiefs are a better team than the Eagles. I don't think anything of Sirianni. I don't think anything of Jalen Hurts. I think he's a shitty quarterback. I said earlier on this year when the postseason started, the Eagles will never win a Super Bowl with Jalen Hurts, and I hope I'm eating my words because I'm pulling for the Eagles hard as hell. I just don't think there's any way the Eagles win.
Would you say it's mandatory for Kansas City to be able to stop Saquon Barkley for them to win?
There's call
it's mandatory. The Eagles run the football to Saquon Barkley over 35 times on Sunday. If Saquon Barkley doesn't have over 35 carries, we've got problems.
If he's got 150 yards rushing, who wins that game?
The Chiefs.
Eagles.
It's the Eagles.
The Chiefs.
No one has stopped him all year long.
They'll just continue to call penalties, Grump. You don't get it. They'll call. Trust me, there will be some kind of ticky-tack hold that they call to bring. Oh, Saquon busts a 6-yard touchdown. Oh, wait, hold on. There's a flag. There's a flag on the field. Got to call it back. I promise you'll see it. I'm not watching, but you can watch. You can be a sucker and watch. That's fine. I will not be watching that garbage.
We're going to Clockwork Orange.
I will not be watching that garbage.
We're going to tie you to a chair, pry open your eyeballs, and put drops in there to keep them lubricated so you can watch.
Wow. It's helping you out there, actually.
I would rather go blind.
Oh, well.
Oh, gosh.
There's ancient Chinese bamboo torture than watch.
I think
it might as well be the same thing.
I think the Eagles are the best team in football. That's all I'm going to say.
They might be the best team, but they don't have the one secret weapon that the Chiefs have.
Okay, we're moving on past the referee.
Which is the refs.
Oh, I knew talking about the refs would be tough, Rex. It's
difficult. Everything is about referees for him. Everything in life.
Unfortunately, Grump, by the time this information probably becomes public, you're going to be gone. So when it does become public, I'll visit you and let you know, guess what, Grump? It finally happened, buddy. It finally happened.
He's going to your headstone. He's going to go to your headstone. The first thing that's going to happen is once gets leaked that there's a whole bunch of a cabal and a whole bunch.
I knew it.
X is going to drive to your gravestone, however far away it's going to be from him. Maybe he'll bring a pack of Yoo-Hoo, just like the time you went to the Jets game with your dad. You had a pack of Yoo-Hoo, and he'll pour out a little cup of Yoo-Hoo for you and say, "I knew it, Grumpy. They were cheating the whole time."
It's funny. I had somebody ask me today why I get so upset with the current condition of the NFL.
I
was asked, why do I get so upset and aggravated about the current condition of the NFL? And I tried to explain it like, imagine you have something here that you really, really enjoyed and it's really good, right? And then they just change it up and make it the worst thing possible known to man, right? That's how I feel. I wish we could go back to the old days of the NFL when the product was actually good. You could hit people. The players were better. Not everything was fixed by the league. We didn't have players flopping around on the field like soccer players, let's be honest. Go back to that time period. That's when the NFL was good, when you had people in concussion protocol every week.
Okay.
Going back with
Thomas.
You're talking about going back to when the Pro Bowl used to be like this, right?
Yes, when there was fuzz, when the TV had snow on it, baby. That's where I want to go back.
You're going to have to slow it up, otherwise we get the stutter step.
Okay, Grumpy, was there a point you wanted to make before I play this?
Yes. I don't know if you knew this, but X lost his wallet, and the first thing he did was blame the referees. First of all, how the fuck can you lose your wallet?
There we go.
Blaming the referees. It's a Kansas City wallet. They're Kansas City referees. He was going to get Kansas City barbecue, and he lost his wallet. He's like,
actually, you know what? I was going to bet on Kansas City for the game, and I lost my wallet. They definitely rigged it. They knew I was going to bet. They rigged it, so I couldn't bet.
There you go.
Well, let's go. These are the old days.
Tom is not the most fleet of foot, as you could see as he kind of lumbers through the course. But one thing that he does about as well as anybody in football is throw the ball with great accuracy, even though he didn't hit the middle of the target.
Got a little bit of the red, though.
Because he's pointing.
He's going to win that game.
So how do you feel, Tom? All right?
Winded.
Yeah, a little bit winded. You haven't been working out or something? What's going on?
Nah, should have got that bullseye. I got to bring up.
Tom Brady, rising star in the NFL. His first attempt.
Not very nice. But, I'll tell you one thing. This guy had some pretty big shoes to fill in replacing Drew Bledsoe. And not only did he do it well, I mean, he led his team to the Super Bowl MVP in Super Bowl 36, and has really established himself as one of the young top quarterbacks in the NFL.
He's going so far. Now the deep ball. Brady. How do you throw that deep ball?
Got to hit it. And you just throw it there and just let it hit the target. I don't know what's going on.
Got to lead him a little bit, or what do you do?
God dang it.
Nobody. This looks good. A beautiful throw. Wow. All right. Tom Brady firing it right down the middle of the field.
One of the reasons this throw is so good is because it's a perfect spiral. Tom Brady, what a great throw.
Look at that. Wasn't that the good old days back when they used to have Pro Bowls like that?
Yeah. Look at this garbage.
Comes up big this next time. There's Brian Branch. Oh, he's eliminated. That one hurt. Golly. Hit him.
Look at this. Just, ugh. This is what they do now in the Pro Bowl. Look at this.
You should look up Sean Taylor Pro Bowl hit.
Yeah, dude. Well, he wasn't playing like a Pro Bowl. He was playing like that was a real damn game. And
yeah, he absolutely I don't know who it was, but he lit him up on the sidelines. Now we have two-hand touch football for the Pro Bowl.
Yeah, it's the Pro Bowl is just a joke. Nobody watches the Pro Bowl. I remember when the Pro Bowl it started to make that change. Where it was like, what the? It's like they used to play kind of hard. Now it was like, we're kind of like halfway going through the motions, and now it's just an absolute joke. But X, let's get there. There's some more comments here.
Gungun says, TJ and Son X, have you ever been bold enough to sneak a sip of Grumpy's mysterious grape drink?
Yep, I've had grape drink before. It's good.
Did it make you skate faster in the rink?
Oh, yeah. Gives you energy.
Gives you energy.
Actually, it's like Red Bull. It gives you wings.
Freedom Von Red says, that GM sounds like a moron and a BS artist. Is BS artist the number one trait that you have to get to be a GM job?
Yes, talking about the GM for the Mavericks.
I don't know if it's most important, but you got to be able to do it.
Yeah, got to be able to bullshit. Yep.
Freedom Fun Adventure says, I stopped watching the NBA around the time LeBron entered. He and trash like him ruined the game. It's been quite a while since I've watched the NBA. Quite a while.
I used to watch back when it was like, I remember watching the Heat when they were in the finals. I liked the last time I really watched was when it was LeBron and the Cavs against the Golden State Warriors. I remember watching those games. And other than that, I have no interest anymore.
A long time ago.
Years ago.
Mahomes is the GOAT. Now, who is this? X?
That is Derek.
Derek Monroe says, Arsenal humble Holland and Manchester City 5-1 today, practically knocking City out of title contention for the remainder of the season. Go Gunners. I don't think Arsenal has a shot to win, do they? Isn't that like Liverpool?
They're second. Liverpool.
All I know is Erling Haaland's response when they lost was he pointed at the Premier League champions because they were the champions of Premier League last year on his kit.
Oh, but isn't like Liverpool up big in Premier League?
I like it. No, the 3 or 6 points, something like that. It's somewhat close.
Buncher adds, NHL canceled the Islanders' attempt to sell Ziggy Palffy to the Rangers because it was a pure salary dump. Okay, I do want to comment on this in a second. It would hurt the Islanders on ice and in the market, force the owners to get more value from LA. Okay. What has changed in those 15 years or so since Ziggy Palffy that was axed? Now teams have to give up draft picks to make salary dumps, but they dump salary all the time. What's the difference between now and then?
Yeah.
They allow it to happen now.
There you go. Why?
Because they're corrupt and crooked.
There you go.
All sports are.
There we go. That's the answer I wanted from you, X.
Don't worry, I'm here for you always.
Goon says, I can't help but think if the Blue Jackets still had Johnny Gaudreau, would they be even better? Grumpy, are you happy with your local weather? The weather is fine. Very nice, actually.
I think if they had Gaudreau, they'd probably be a better team. But I think they're playing for something more than hockey this year, the Columbus Blue Jackets. And I hope Columbus makes the playoffs.
Yep.
I do.
I pull for them.
I think Columbus has had to grow up this year.
Yep.
That's what I think.
Absolutely.
Drew says, hello, everyone. So the NBA trade landscape has been absolutely nuts these last 2 days. TJ, I sent you one, the one with Luka Dončić.
Yes. When the fans were or when Katie was like, what the hell happened with this trade? So, yes, thank you for that.
And there was another big trade today.
There's another big trade today.
Yes, another big NBA trade today. But DeAndre Fox, I don't know. I don't know any of the players. I did know.
Isn't it De'Aaron Fox?
Maybe.
Yeah,
like I said,
yeah,
it was another pretty, not as big as the one yesterday, but it was still a pretty big deal. Gugun says, Grumpy, who do you think had worse hygiene, Ratso Rizzo or Grandpa Joe? Do either one of you know what movies either of these characters are in?
Yes, this is from Grandpa Joe is from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. No idea who Ratso Rizzo is.
Well, it was from Willy. It's from Willy
Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
But they're different characters.
The same thing. I got it right.
And there's Ratso Rizzo from Muppets?
No. Ratso Rizzo was from Midnight Cowboy, which won the Academy Award for Best Picture.
With John Travolta.
It was with John Voight and Dustin Hoffman, who played Ratso Rizzo.
You're thinking about the Roxbury movie.
No, I'm thinking of there's one with John Travolta where he was a cowboy.
Urban Cowboy.
That was it.
It was different. Different movie.
All righty, next comment.
Nice try.
Put this pop culture nonsense.
Freedom. This is actually, I love the pop culture set because it just shows my vast superior over the both.
But yet you still can't understand that the NFL's rigged.
On the full scale. Just on a full scale.
So
Freedom Fun Adventure goes, Son X, this is one for you. Did you see the alleged script leak for the Super Bowl? Keller Kelsey faking an injury, Casey trailing, dramatic comeback with Kelsey the star, gives a speech and proposes to Swiftie live on the air. Weak, if true.
Wow.
I hope, as I said, he gets tackled really
If that
well.
happens, you're going to lose real football fans. You will absolutely lose real football fans if that happens.
I wanted to put this up because I always find, again, Barry Bonds, we've always talked about criminal that he's not in the Hall of Fame.
Criminal.
But Barry Bonds was intentionally locked 120 times in 2004. There are only 3 active players with as many intentional walks in their career. Freddie Freeman, active players. Freddie Freeman, Bryce Harper, and Mike Trout.
Yep.
He had 120 walks in a season.
They intentionally walked him. And here's the thing. Even there were times where he was walked over 200 times a year. He wasn't intentionally walked other times, but it was like borderline intentional, like where they just throw it outside, hoping he would chase.
Yeah, and they don't want to throw him anything he can hit.
The best is when him and Eric Gagne faced off, and Eric Gagne said, "I'm only going to throw you fastballs." That was it, and it was amazing. Everybody was on their feet because Eric Gagne was the Cy Young Award winner the year before, and then Barry Bonds won. I want to say it was the Triple Crown, didn't he?
I don't think he ever won Triple Crown.
Well, he had the most home runs the year before and was playing phenomenally, and it was just insane. Everybody was on their feet. He's just throwing heaters right down Main Street, and I think Barry ended up catching one and absolutely just unloaded on it. It was awesome, though.
Man, Barry Bonds.
We'll remember that.
I mean, Barry Bonds is a really good player, all-time great.
Yep.
Drew says, if we're being honest, Dallas might be the lowest low-cal
The
organization.
biggest low LOL cow organization. Oh, low-cal?
Yes, low-cal.
Organization in the NBA. Yeah, that was a horrific trade for them.
The low-cal, just to translate that, is like somebody that people watch to laugh at, and they kind of enjoy watching them fail.
Drew says, Grumpy, yesterday when you completely misread the context of my comment on extending certain Islanders and then proceeded to go on a tyrannical rant, that sounds great. I was referring to Mr. P, not Palmieri. Yeah, I thought you were talking about Mr. P.
No, you said Palmieri, I think.
They all suck. I wouldn't extend anyone the Islanders have. Freedom Punch says, Son X and TJ, we hooping is beneath you and definitely beneath the audience. Leagues seem to believe that they need these dynasties, but these aren't the real ones these days, and most people see through it. Absolutely.
They said that I heard some people say, like, they hated it when Brady would get calls and stuff back in the day, but they said the difference was the Patriots would be blowing out a team by like 30 plus points, which, showed that they were really, really good. Not just the fact that they got calls, but they were really good. Whereas every single Chiefs game is super close right to the end, and they always seem to get the call right at the end, which is why I think people are more pissed off about it.
That's right. Here's the thing.
The Patriots.
Also, the Patriots, when they were in their dynasty heyday, the only years that they did not win a Super Bowl or contend for a Super Bowl is when they had injuries. Kansas City's really never had significant injuries to anyone.
You can't hit anybody.
I mean, well, but that's what happens when the league is. Now, this year they lost Rashid Rice, who was a huge loss for them.
Yes.
But they've never really had big injuries to their key players, ever.
The reason people didn't like Brady was not because they got all the calls. It was because they thought they cheated. It was like that was the Spygate against the Jets. That was the Flakegate. It wasn't like, oh yeah, they're actively getting the calls. They thought they were cheating. And it's like you look at it and they put legislation in to change it, right? You talk about like the tuck rule. Well, the rule hadn't been invented yet. So it's like they benefited from an in-between call that never you really see. And now they change it to where it's like, oh, there's a new piece of legislation now. And this is how it's going to be ruled going forward.
Well,
and the play where the Steelers, I think it was Pat Freiermuth, caught it in the end zone, but he hit the ground. So it kind of like shook a little bit. And then they changed how the catch was ruled too in the future. So like they made changes to the rules based off of certain calls that benefited the Patriots, but it wasn't like, oh, hey, gotcha. We're going out of our way to throw pass interference calls or roughing the passer calls when anything happens to bail them out.
The two calls you were talking about, the first one, the tuck rule, that rule had been in place forever and ever, and it hurt the Patriots early in the year when Vinny Testaverde did the same thing when he's with the Jets. He did that pump, the ball came down, and it fell out, and they called incomplete pass, tuck rule. So that rule had been in place, and it hurt the Patriots earlier in the year. That's why they felt that they would get that call overturned. The one against Pittsburgh was James was the name of the tight end at the end, and that had been a problem where Des Bryant was going over the touchdown against Green Bay, Dallas against Green Bay, and they said he lost control when he was going over the top, so therefore they turned the ball over. And that call also. But as soon as it happened against the Patriots, another thing they called was against Baltimore in 2014, where they were running that unbalanced line and lining guys, which was legal. They were running unbalanced line and just running the tight end who was lined up as the tackle wide open, and Baltimore didn't know what to do, and they burned him twice on that, and they wound up changing the rule after that. See, that's not
cheating. That's knowing what you could do within the confines of the rules and exploiting the rules.
Yeah.
It's not cheating, but it's definitely exploiting the rules. But
Patrick Belichick used to do that all the time now.
Patrick Mahomes does that when he pretends like he's going to run out of bounds.
Right.
And then he's like, I'm going to keep running the football again. So what they should do is they should say, if you pretend like you slow up, you're going to be down there. Otherwise, they can hit you and tattoo the living shit out of you and kill you. That's fine.
That's why it doesn't bother me. It bothers me that he does it, but it's like, okay, well, that's just the rule. Until they change the rule, the guys are going to use that to their advantage. I don't like it, and he looks for contact, and he knows he's going to get that flag called.
Yep.
Some guys
looks for it.
Lamar Jackson does not get that flag called when he does it.
Never.
Josh Allen doesn't get that flag called when he. And here's the thing: they don't really do it, but they take late hits all the time with no flags. Where Patrick Mahomes, if you look at him funny, you're getting a flag for that.
Well, let's get through some more comments here, X.
Freedom of Adventure says, anyone feel Kelsey is going to have a meteoric fall when he is done playing? Guy seems like a total like a tool with lots of deep, dark issues. Taylor Swift is ugly. Oh, Taylor Swift is ugly as hell. So Kelsey does have an iron stomach.
Well, I'll disagree on that last bit, but I will say this: I do feel like Travis Kelsey. I don't know. Him and his brother have. I mean, who would have ever known who the hell Jason Kelsey was? Think about it. His brother dating Taylor Swift was the only reason that their little podcast had any sort of popularity, which is the only reason that he is as a game commentator now, because nobody was like, yeah, sign me up for Jason Kelsey. Jeff Saturday, the center, was like the first center to do that. And he was a Hall of Fame caliber center, not some freaking Joe Schmo from the Eagles who was some shitty lineman. No freaking way. But again, he benefited off of it. They're podcasted. They're signing all these types of deals. That's the Taylor Swift effect.
Freedom Fund Adventure says, come on, Son X. We all know if the warden puts out a Super Bowl buffet, you'll be there watching the Super Bowl.
Wow.
Will X be bringing anything but his appetite? No, he will not. And here's the thing. Here's the biggest portion. Today, the warden's been a little bit under the weather recently, and she said I was banned from eating any of her food, a donut. And I told this to X, and he come around sniffing around, looking for food, and says, oh, what's this? Oh, there's donuts. Can I have donuts? I said, that's the warden's donuts. She won't let me have any. So what is that?
Oh, you did not say that. You said, I don't give a shit. Have as many as you want. Verbatim, that came out of your mouth. Don't try and lie. Don't lie.
Warden's donuts? Are you kidding
me?
So
X ate the one donut. And she asked, what about the donuts? I said, your little boy,
I had one.
Came over here and he ate multiple donuts.
I had one.
Two.
One donut.
He gave one to the dog.
Grumpy must have engulfed 3.
Next.
There were 3 left. Did you eat the box as well, Grumpy?
Frank from Empire State says, yeah, the Bills got their tush pushed by the refs in the NFL.
I like that, Frank. I like that. Oh, gosh.
JP says, honestly, X, even when the game was more violent, the game was still manipulated. Defense as far back as the 1960 NFL championship game between Philly and Green Bay and Super Bowl III. The most rigged game ever.
Here's my thing. At least the game was more fun to watch because you knew at some point in time somebody was going to get stretchered off the field.
Here's the thing. There was no penalties for roughing penalties. It just didn't exist.
Just got steamrolled.
It had to be really, really egregious. Half the shit they call roughing now, it's like, you got to be kidding me.
You're getting breathed on. And the guy, whoa, flops backwards 15, 20 yards.
Really quickly, something that just shocked me because I was looking at it. How many times do you think Barry Bonds led the MLB in home runs for the season? He is the all-time home run leader. How many seasons do you think Barry Bonds led the MLB in home runs? He played a total of 22 seasons.
I want to say
18.
9. I want to say 9.
2.
Oh
wow!
How do you say he led?
He only led the MLB 2 seasons in home runs.
Well, he didn't. Then he didn't set the record. Then
he has the most home runs in the history of the MLB.
I thought you said he leads the league and how many times he led the league in home runs.
There's only twice in his career.
Barry Bonds leads the MLB in home runs. How many times do you think he led the single season lead for home runs hit?
You realize that's not what you said.
You said 18. You said 9. You understand exactly what that is.
You said he led the most seasons with home runs. Is what you said.
You're wrong.
He has the record for the most home runs hit.
You did. That's what you said. I'm just
Simple
saying.
as
What
that. Everybody in the comments understood what it is.
Yep. No. You're wrong. You said it incorrectly, which is
wrong.
fine. It's okay.
Grumpy, it's all right. You got confused. You looked at TJ's hairline and it confused you. It's okay.
Ooh, I got blind. Matter of fact,
He leads the MLB in the history of the sport for home runs in a career and only led 2 seasons with most home runs hit.
You realize that's not how you worded the question. That's all I'm saying.
Exactly how I worded it.
It's not. It's not.
Listen a little closer.
Freedom Front Adventure says, TJ, you fucking moron.
No, he didn't say that. Reread it.
I added that. Son X. Oh, we've heard that before, haven't we, X? What would cause somebody? What would cause somebody to be called an effing moron?
I think if somebody
back to read it, huh? Maybe you can eat more donuts, Grump. Get to read more
I think if they put the knives upside down in the dishwasher.
You've got 21 minutes, Grump.
Freedom Fun Adventure says, Son X, you cold bastard. You are going to make that sweet old man listen to your crazy rants even when he's dead. Grumpy, get cremated and spread somewhere X can't bother you in the afterlife.
I like that.
It's crazy. Every single week I got to hear it from X for at least an hour, hour 45 minutes. He's just going on about the rest. I eventually got to hang up on it. I can't listen to him.
Don't worry, Grumpy. You're in for another session tonight, baby.
I create a group call, and freaking Grumpy's like, I don't want to listen to him talk about that fucking refs anymore.
Yeah, baby. And he just starts it again. He just can't help himself.
Don't worry, Grumpy. I'll give you another session tonight.
Freedom Fund Adventure says, I agree. I want sports to return to how they were. And let's be honest, they were more manly.
They were.
Absolutely.
They were.
The fact is, you have guys who weigh 150 pounds playing the NFL. Those guys didn't exist in the – you might have one or two, but they were kickoff guys, scat backs. They couldn't – like Devontae Smith never could have played in the olden days of the NFL. Way too frail. Way too frail.
Nice
Neither can Patrick Mahomes.
Freedom Fund Adventure adds, remember when I pointed out the Islanders' lack of lacked head of strength and conditioning until just before camp? Wonder if it played a part with all these injuries. I think it's just a fluke. I think it's just a fluky year for all the injuries for them. JP said, just to get out in front of this, how many games in a row will the Islanders lose after today? All the rest before the deadline. Before the AstroTurfers and the vociferous know-nothings pipe down about the merits of the roster without Dobson.
Well, they're just fuck. I don't know. Here's the thing: the season they started talking about it today. We'll know more on Monday about the big loss of Matt Barzal. He's done for the year. Simple as that. You're going to find out on Monday, I'm sure, that he's done for the season.
Done for the year.
Or if he does come back, it's going to be like at the time period the playoff starts, depending on the severity of this injury.
So he's out for the year.
Yeah,
he's already golfing.
And you know what's going to piss me off is they're not going to tell you what the actual injury is. I don't think they're going to tell us we know what the injury is, but I don't think they're going to be honest. We know what the injury is. It's been leaked.
Knee job.
It's been leaked It's been leaked pretty much amongst all the people who talk about the Islanders, and I assume they're just going to tell us lower body injury. But I promise you, somebody's going to come out there and say it first, and we'll just confirm it at that point because we know.
What do you all think it is?
It's a 3 to 6 month return. That's what it is. 3 to 6.
Well, it depends if it requires surgery or not.
Oh, it's 3 to 6.
He's done for the year.
Marco Casper had the same. Marco Casper, here it is. Here it is, guys. I'm not saying anything, but Marco Casper had the same injury, and he missed 6 weeks. So if you Google search Marco Casper injury, you'll probably see a 6 months injury, or 6 week injury. You're going to see it's going to be the same thing that Barzal had. But anyway, let's keep going.
JP says, by the way, I'm not claiming that the games are scripted, but they're not on the level and never consistently were.
It's the WWE. It's all right.
Freedom Fund Adventure. I'm going to tell you what, WWE last night had the Royal Rumble, and the last two people in the ring, I'm watching. John Cena was actually a guest, and you know he dyes his hair. You know how you can tell? It's all one color.
He has no hair on the top of his head.
Well, we know that, but also whatever he had was all the same color, and he was one of the last two guys. I'm praying, like, do not let this freaking guy get the main event of WrestleMania. Thank goodness he lost. And it was terrible. I thought the Royal Rumble was terrible yesterday. Freedom Fund Adventure goes, mentioned on a Precious episode that Grumpy watches football with the neighborhood ladies. What's that about? No, it's not true. I don't really watch with them. Those broads want some eye candy around. That's true. How does the warden feel about you being the local sex object? These are all they're older women. I'm just going to, and they're Panther fans, and they go to, like, there's one lady's house where like 4 or 5 of them show up, and I always try to stop in to brighten their days. So that's what I do. JP says, and if Barry Bonds is in the Baseball Hall of Fame, everyone should get kicked out. Yeah, same thing with Pete Rose, A-Rod, Roger Clemens, just ridiculous. JP says, the Pats did get most of the calls, and they cheated. I didn't get a whole lot of calls. Not like Kansas City does. Sorry.
No, not anywhere near close.
I don't remember Adam Schefter or Chris Berman coming out there speaking about, wow, look at how many pass interference calls go in the favor of the New England Patriots versus their opponents. Look at the roughing the passer calls going in the favor of. It's bad when Adam Schefter's bringing that up. It just is.
Derek Rose says, TJ played Chris Jones roughing the passer call on Brady in the AFC title game. And, okay, I'll talk about that because I know about it. Brady gets a BS call that majorly affects the game in Arrowhead. Okay. He did in the third quarter. He did get a roughing the passer call, and it was marginal. He did hit the helmet. Chris Jones absolutely hit him in the helmet, but I never would have made that call. But here's the thing. Mahomes got one where he wasn't even touched in the helmet. he got one last week. At least Brady was touched in the helmet, but it should have been a non-call, honestly.
Stands in the pocket, throws. Intended for Edelman, no flag.
And also in that game, they let Gronk. He was held the whole game, dragged on the whole game. They didn't call one pass interference.
Sack special, so there is a flag.
Defense number 95.
Roughing the passer.
15-yard penalty.
And it was
Automatic first down.
Hit to the face on back.
Then we can
To
show
the
the one
helmet
from
by
last
Chris
week against Houston.
He's reaching over. And Chris Jones in the middle, you're going to see him push the pocket on two.
Boom, hit him in the face,
Right
man.
there, he slaps.
I wouldn't have thrown it,
And
but it's still marginal.
right where? Similar to the one earlier where he did
There he goes.
hit him.
You saw it.
His helmet literally
I think
shifts
that's
down.
the same thing that happened to Mahomes earlier.
With Trey Flowers.
Yep.
7.
Yeah, I think it was a soft call, but it's
Absolutely a soft call. Absolutely it's a soft call. But here's the thing. That's one. Let's show 50 on Mahomes.
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
There's a highlight reel for Mahomes.
Here's the things, Derek, and this is the one you'll have to go to your grave with. Patrick Mahomes could never beat Tom Brady when it counted. Never. Never freaking ever. He couldn't beat a man in his fucking 40s when he was in the prime of his career. Couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. He tried. Try as he might. Couldn't do it.
Why do you
Sorry.
think that is? Why do you think that is, Grump?
I think Brady could crawl on the field today and beat Mahomes.
Oh.
He's Mahomes' daddy. Everyone knows it. Right in front of it. Look at who the quarterbacks he's going against now.
Garbage. Let's be honest.
Freedom Front Adventure goes, I remember reading about the Islanders dynasty, not in Greg Prato's books. He won't see this. He only came on to plug his book and vanished. NHL decided it wanted the Oilers to be the new champs and changed the schedule to benefit the Oilers. First 2 games in New York, next 3 in Edmonton only happened that year, and the Islanders complained like crazy. The Islanders were really banged up in that drive for 5 years. They were really banged up. I still thought they were going to win, but they were really banged up. JB says, that's true. The Pats didn't get as many calls as the Chefs, but that's undoubtedly true. Yep, I agree. I thought it was a marginal call.
I'm not going to lie. The Patriots absolutely got calls. They did. They absolutely did. But it's nowhere near to the extent of the Chiefs.
Usually was touchdown Patriots.
All righty. Any other comments we've got here?
Nope. That's it. Oh, hold on.
Yeah.
Mahomes. Oh, here's Derek again. I just showed you evidence of Brady having to have the refs help to beat Mahomes in the AFC title game. Sorry about it. Really? Really?
The magnitude of how often.
How about on that play where they had a guy blocking an illegal wide receiver blocking 15 yards down the field, a guy 15 lineman 15 yards down the field, or a crackback block that wasn't called that actually gave Kansas City a touchdown. You're wrong, Derek. Sorry. It's okay. It's okay that Patrick Mahomes will never be Tom Brady. It's okay. He'll be. I don't know where he'll be when he finishes up, but he won't be number 1. That's all I know.
He'll have an asterisk next to his name. That's all I'm going to say. His Super Bowls will have asterisks next.
Very true. Very true.
I want you to read this here, Grubby.
Dodgers owner Mark Walter, the Walter Family Foundation, and the Dodgers Foundation are contributing $100 million towards the LA wildfire recovery. Who gives a shit?
Is that Shohei's contract? Money.
Most of it's deferred till 2033.
Oh, Frank! Frank the Tank, baby.
That's
Frank?
actually pretty good. I like it.
I did that too. Something I wanted to
I will tell you one thing. You heard Hal Steinbrenner come out last week complaining, oh, the Yankees can't keep up with the Dodgers. Stop your crying, please. I'm a Yankees fan. Stop your crying. Every team can do deferred payments if they want. Everyone can. That's a loophole, though, that Major League Baseball needs to. They need to
make stipulations on it to where it's not where you could just say, "Hey, we're going to start paying you." Here's the thing: the MLBPA likes it. They simply do, because for these guys that are playing out in California with those ridiculous taxes, they're going to say, well, great. I'd rather defer my payments till where I'm living in my home spot or a place where I've got lower taxation and I'm going to get consistent paycheck when I get done. And it doesn't, I mean, like, they don't give a shit. I mean, the price of the luxury tax is just going to go up and up and up and up and up. It doesn't even matter. So they're going to have to do something to fix it. Anyway.
Anthony Filipponi has put out a tweet saying, source, there are Steelers scouts who love Alabama quarterback Jalen Milroe. Yikes.
Comment on this.
They believe he's a first-round talent. He is not. And a potential franchise quarterback. He is not. Mike Tomlin will see him next week at the Senior Bowl. Stay tuned. He cannot throw the ball.
He looked terrible. What is it? The Shrine Bowl? Is that what
it was?
The Senior Bowl. They did their little whatever combine thing there. He was short on his throws to all the wide receivers. They said he looked abysmal. They said he looked so bad in that.
I would agree.
I want to go ahead there.
He's not good.
X, do you have any comment on that?
What? That he's a first-round talent? No.
Yeah, I can't.
No, he sucks. He sucks. You saw how poorly he played this year for them.
Yeah, for the life.
Yeah, watch this. Oh my God. There you go. That's what you want out of your quarterback, right?
He's terrible.
Oh my
God,
terrible.
Oof. Yikes.
Let me just check down to. Is that Kaiser?
Check down the interception is what that is.
I think that was Kaiser.
I just pulled up Jalen Milroe. I don't even know if they're good. Okay, that's a good throw by him. I don't even.
Just keep watching. There's some pretty poor ones. Okay, that's the wide receiver fighting for that ball.
Yeah,
that's the wide receiver fighting for that.
Oof, here you go.
Look up Jalen Milroe. Bad.
Look at this. God almighty.
Yeah.
Jalen Milroe reportedly hurt his stock more than most players at the Senior Bowl this week. Many NFL scouts were reportedly expecting Milroe to establish himself as a QB3 in this year's draft. However, it did the opposite. Milroe has reportedly behind Jackson Dart, Dylan Gabriel, Riley Leonard, even Tyler. Who the hell is this?
No idea.
So, in terms of performance, Milroe was reportedly struggling. With timing, accuracy all week, and even took 3 sacks in the Senior Bowl game. One NFL scout believes Milroe is just an SEC version of Malik Willis. Oof. Alrighty. I'll let you pop up that last item. I don't know where Grumpy is, but Mahomes is GOAT. This is Derek says here. Did Brady have 7 AFC title appearances in his first 7 seasons as a starter, or is that just a Mahomes thing? Did Brady start 5 Super Bowls in his first 7 seasons, or is that just a Mahomes thing?
Okay. Has Mahomes been to 10 Super Bowls? Has Mahomes won 7? Has Mahomes been to that's what I was trying to do. I was trying to count up how many AFC title games Brady been to, or how many conference games he's been to. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15. Did he go to 15? No. Let me get back to me when he does that. Because guess what? As I mentioned to TJ and X before, you see how Mahomes is able, he's diving sideways, throwing the ball sideways. When you get a little bit old, you can't do that shit anymore because you don't have the athletic ability. You just don't. And then you're going to see and let's see what happens when he starts losing his big guys. That's going to be the issue. What happens? Because they were terrible on offense this year. You can say whatever you want about Mahomes. He was dog shit this year.
It's the worst year he's had ever.
Absolutely. Because guess what? They didn't have the weapons on the outside. And Kelsey was a non-entity until they got to the playoffs.
Yep.
So, I mean, whatever. I'm not saying Patrick Mahomes sucks, but he's no Tom Brady. Sorry.
When he gets older, the field will just be painted yellow with the amount of flags thrown by the officials.
Oh, there goes X. Back to the referees. Back to that well.
Yeah.
Freedom Front Adventure goes, do you think the Chiefs players with pride hate the way the refs call it? No. They all know the refs are helping them. I just like how they cry when they don't get a call.
For instance, remember how Patrick Mahomes acted after they lost to Josh Allen?
By 10 points. By 10 points.
Yeah. That's a bullshit. That's a bullshit penalty. No,
Quit
that's
your
ridiculous.
crying. Quit your
Literally
crying.
after the game. Doesn't even say, hey, good game.
You know what you never heard from Brady after a game? You never heard him complain about the officials ever. Ever. This bitch is complaining when they lose a game.
Yeah,
That's what they do.
He had the guy lined up in the neutral zone. The offensive player, Kadarius Toney, lack of awareness, lining up in the wrong spot.
Didn't execute.
Yep.
Didn't execute.
Yeah, I think he was honestly dumbfounded that a flag was thrown against him.
He was stunned.
He said, hold on, my decree.
Now, he thinks
no flags against me.
He's thinking like it should be like when X lined up offside and the referee said, hey, number 90, next time, why don't you just back up a couple of steps there, buddy?
That's right.
All righty. Let's wrap things up. Grumpy X, what do you want to say before the end of the show here today?
I want to say love and laughter to everyone who listens and even those who don't. TJ, the grumpy old man, and Son X, and go Eagles.
X, what do you want to say before we wrap the show up today?
I want to thank everybody for coming out and listening as always. Love the interaction in the comments. We'll not be watching the Super Bowl, but we will see you guys next time.
Thanks so much, guys, for watching the show. Thank you, Grumpy. Thank you, X. We'll see you guys next time.
Next time. You got to do the hand.